you know, living in the family that I live in and catching heat for that sort of stuff. And also just—
For being a Reiner?
I guess. I mean, people would like to think that's a real bigger deal than it actually is, but it's really like, I was an emotional kid who had problems and I just was not so fond of myself, so I kind of—
Rob Reiner's connection to All in the Family cuts way deeper than most people ever realize. Born Robert Norman Reiner on March 6, 1947 in New York City, he didn't just grow up near show business, he was dropped straight into the center of it. With a father like Carl Reiner, the comedy mastermind behind The Dick Van Dyke Show, entertainment wasn't a dream, it was the family business. Rob was basically raised under studio lights and punchlines flying across the room. The pressure was there from day one, no question. His mother, Estelle Reiner, carved her own slice of pop culture history too, with that legendary moment in When Harry Met Sally, delivering the line, "I'll have what she's having." A single sentence that exploded into one of the most quoted movie moments ever. Picture growing up in a house where comedy timing, storytelling, and creativity were just part of the morning routine. Rob didn't just study entertainment, he lived it every single day. But being born into greatness meant living under a massive shadow. Instead of folding, Reiner doubled down. He pushed harder, stayed focused, and refused to coast on his last name. He headed to UCLA to study filmmaking and directing, making it clear early on that he wasn't chasing quick fame. He was building something solid. Acting might have cracked the first door open, but education became the foundation for everything that followed. This wasn't luck, it was strategy. Rob Reiner's true breakout came in 1971 when Norman Lear took a risk and cast him as Michael "Meathead" Stevick on the bold, culture-shaking sitcom All in the Family. Dropped right into America's living rooms, Reiner played the loud, idealistic son-in-law to Carol O'Connor's stubborn, old-school Archie Bunker, and sparks flew instantly. Meathead wasn't just another TV character. He was confrontational, outspoken, and always ready to clash. Every argument with Archie felt electric. Their battles weren't just jokes, they were raw, uncomfortable, and packed with meaning. Reiner hit the rare balance of humor and heart so cleanly that audiences didn't just laugh, they felt every word. Over 9 seasons, that energy earned him 2 Emmy Awards and turned sitcom nights into real conversations about family, politics, and values people usually avoided out loud. But even while killing it on screen, Reiner was plotting his next move. He refused to stay boxed in as just the actor. Behind the scenes, he was soaking up game. Working side by side with Norman Lear and elite writers, he studied pacing, rhythm, storytelling, and how characters drive impact, not gimmicks. Every episode was a masterclass. Those weren't just acting years, those were training years. By the early 1980s, Reiner made a bold leap, stepping behind the camera and claiming his lane as a director. That move didn't just shift his career, it permanently rewrote how Hollywood viewed him. What followed wasn't luck, it was dominance. From 1984 to 1992, Rob Reiner went on a legendary run that still feels unreal, genre hopping like it was nothing. Every project either won critics over, smashed box offices, or did both at the same time. It kicked off with This Is Spinal Tap in 1984, a razor-sharp mockumentary that completely flipped satire on its head. In 1985, The Sure Thing proved he could blend romance and comedy with ease. Then came Stand By Me in 1986, a raw, emotional coming-of-age story that hit straight in the chest. In 1987, The Princess Bride landed, mixing love, adventure, and humor into a timeless classic. Then, When Harry Met Sally dropped in 1989, instantly locking itself in as one of the most beloved romantic comedies ever. And just when people thought they had him figured out, Reiner flipped the script again in 1990 with Misery, a dark, chilling psychological thriller that showed he could master fear just as easily as laughter. And that iconic line everyone still quotes, "You can't handle the truth." It's one of those moments that refuses to fade, no matter how much time passes. That line alone locked Rob Reiner into cinematic history in a whole new way. Very few directors have ever shown that kind of insane range, and Reiner proved it again and again. He could make you laugh out loud, tear up, feel nostalgic, or sit frozen in pure tension, all without losing the emotional heartbeat of the story. At the center of his films, there was always something deeper driving everything forward. Friendship, love, truth, integrity. Those themes weren't accidental, they were intentional, woven through sharp writing and unforgettable performances. Actors trusted Reiner completely, and under his direction, many delivered the best work of their entire career. That kind of trust isn't given, it's earned. And let's not forget, in 1971, Rob Reiner co-founded Castle Rock Entertainment, named after a Stephen King town. That studio went on to leave a massive stamp on pop culture, with heavyweight projects like Seinfeld, The Shawshank Redemption, When Harry Met Sally, and Misery. That's not lucky run, that's vision paying off. At a time when Hollywood was chasing big budgets, loud explosions, and flashy effects, Reiner stayed locked in on substance. He wasn't hunting empty spectacle, he was building stories that actually meant something. And wow, did it pay off. Depth over noise, truth over trends, purpose over hype. But film wasn't the only lane where Reiner stayed outspoken. He's always been vocal about politics and social issues too. Democracy, civil rights, accountability, he never tiptoed around any of it. Whether people applauded or pushed back hard, one thing stayed consistent. Rob Reiner spoke his mind. That fearlessness wasn't new. It traced straight back to his All in the Family days. The passion, the conviction, the willingness to challenge power, those weren't just meatheads' lines. Those were Reiner's real-life values shining through loud and clear. As the years rolled on, those beliefs never faded. Later in life, Reiner made a smooth return to acting, stepping into roles with real authority. Executives, political figures, power players, characters with weight and presence. With his dry, knowing humor and commanding delivery, he stood out instantly. He delivered standout performances in films like Primary Colors, The American President, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Even outside the director's chair, he proved he hadn't lost a step. The sharpness was still there, the confidence still locked in. His personal life had its own twists too. Back in 1971, Reiner married actress and creative force Penny Marshall, a union that matched the fast-changing energy of Hollywood at the time. He stepped into parenthood without hesitation, adopting Penny Marshall's daughter, Tracy Reiner, and that bond ran deep. Tracy later built her own acting career, proving creativity flowed strong in that family. Even after Reiner and Marshall divorced in 1981, their story didn't vanish. It remained a chapter built on ambition, respect, and two artists rising side by side. Then came another unexpected turn, during the making of When Harry Met Sally. While directing the film, Reiner met photographer Michelle Singer. The connection hit instantly. It wasn't just chemistry, it was creative energy sparking in real time. That relationship even influenced the film's emotional ending, helping shape the timeless tone that audiences still love today. Life-inspiring art in the realest way possible. What started as a professional spark quickly turned into something lasting. In 1989, Rob and Michelle married and built a family rooted in honesty, independence, and creativity. Together, they raised 3 children, Jake, Nick, and Romy, growing up surrounded by cameras, conversations, and constant storytelling. Their oldest, Jake Reiner, followed a storytelling path of his own, working in film before becoming a respected television news reporter in Houston, Texas, a blend of creative roots and real-world journalism.
Or alcohol or gambling, whatever they're doing it because there's a pain. There's something inside they don't feel good.
Their second son, Nick Reiner, faced early struggles with substance dependency, something Rob has spoken about openly and with heart. Instead of hiding it, he used honesty to promote awareness, compassion, and understanding. Through everything, the Reiner family stayed grounded in responsibility, healing, and growth. Silence was never their move, growth was. Their youngest, Romy Reiner, carved her own creative lane as a filmmaker and writer, earning respect for her authenticity and close bond with her parents. Across marriages, parenting, career highs, and personal battles, the values stayed the same: empathy, truth, courage. Off-screen, Rob Reiner's life was never polished or picture perfect. It was raw, real, and deeply human. And while he proudly reflects on All in the Family, time has added layers. Looking back, Reiner has admitted that beneath the praise and cultural impact, there were real moments of pressure, stress, and quiet struggle that stayed with him long after the camera stopped rolling. "It was one of the most important experiences of my life," Reiner has said, but he's also been brutally honest that it wasn't always joyful. That admission perfectly captures what he now calls the sad truth behind the show. While millions adored All in the Family as it exploded in popularity, Reiner was still incredibly young, suddenly thrust into the spotlight as Michael Meathead Stivic, the outspoken liberal constantly clashing with Carol O'Connor's Archie Bunker. Almost overnight, he went from a newcomer to standing in the middle of one of television's most intense creative battlegrounds. Surrounded by veterans and massive personalities, Reiner had to learn fast how to stand his ground without losing himself. "I was a kid, really," Reiner admitted. "I had strong opinions, but not the wisdom yet to know when to push and when to listen." That honesty says everything about his journey. It was messy, bold, and packed with lessons that shaped who he became. That wild mix of youthful confidence, fiery opinions, and politically charged storylines often dropped Rob Reiner right into serious tension, both on and off the set. And he's been upfront about one of the toughest parts of his All in the Family years, his complicated relationship with Carol O'Connor. On screen, their clashes were comedy gold, but behind the scenes, things could get heavy, emotional, and draining. Reiner has explained that many people assumed they hated each other because the arguments felt so real, but the truth went deeper. "We respected each other," Reiner said, "but we came from completely different worlds." O'Connor, older and fiercely protective of his character, often pushed back hard against changes or challenges. Meanwhile, Reiner, young, passionate, and still finding his voice, sometimes felt like he wasn't being heard. "There were moments when I felt unheard," he admitted, and that quiet frustration didn't just disappear when the camera stopped rolling. But the most painful reality for Reiner came from how the audience interpreted the show itself. All in the Family was built as sharp satire, designed to expose prejudice, not excuse it. But instead of questioning Archie Bunker's views, some viewers started cheering for him as if he were the hero. That reaction crushed Reiner. "It broke my heart," he once confessed. The show was meant to hold up a mirror, not celebrate the ugliness. Watching people clap for the very behavior the series was trying to challenge became a brutal wake-up call, a hard lesson in how easily satire can be misunderstood. That experience taught Reiner that even smart humor doesn't always land the way you hope. Real change doesn't always come wrapped in laughter. He's also opened up about the personal toll of living inside constant debate and creative tension. Heated discussions, emotionally charged scripts, non-stop pressure to deliver powerful episodes week after week. It all piled up in ways the audience never saw. "You don't notice it at first," Reiner said, "but carrying that much tension eventually catches up with you." While viewers laughed at home, the cast often wrestled with deeper emotions beneath the jokes. The line between acting and real feelings blurred more than anyone realized. Still, Reiner never talks about those years without gratitude. He's always praised Norman Lear's brilliance and the show's massive cultural impact. "Knowing All in the Family reshaped television forever, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything," Reiner has said, "but I wouldn't pretend it was easy either." That one line holds pride, pain, and truth all at once. Looking back, Reiner doesn't sugarcoat anything. The show wasn't built on peace and harmony. It was forged through tension, loud creative battles, and non-stop pushback. Every episode carried risk. Every joke pushed boundaries that could explode at any moment. Sometimes backlash hit just as hard as praise. But that raw honesty is exactly why All in the Family still hits today. Real change doesn't come from comfort. It comes from discomfort, from saying what others won't and standing firm when the world pushes back. The laughter echoed across America, but behind the scenes, it wasn't all smiles. There was pressure, exhaustion, and emotional strain. Writers clashed, cast members disagreed, scripts were dissected line by line until every word landed just right. Acknowledging that doesn't weaken the legacy, it strengthens it. Powerful art is messy, it's demanding, it's deeply human. Years later, that human side surfaced again in a heartbreaking and deeply serious moment. A sudden emergency involving Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Authorities rushed to their Brentwood home in Los Angeles, treating the situation with full urgency. Details were scarce, but the weight was undeniable. Friends and longtime colleagues were stunned. Flashing lights and emergency vehicles outside a home once filled with laughter and creativity felt haunting. This wasn't Hollywood drama. This was real life crashing hard into a space that once felt safe. Conversations across the industry shifted overnight. Gossip stopped. Reflection began. That home, once known for warmth and open doors, stood silent and tense under the harsh rhythm of an emergency scene. In that moment of shock and disbelief, the Reiner family leaned on love and trusted support. Not long after authorities arrived, Romy Reiner made a desperate call. Her voice was filled with fear and urgency as she reached out to someone who knew her father beyond fame, Billy Crystal. The moment he heard her voice, Billy understood everything. He didn't hesitate. He and his wife rushed straight to the Reiner home. It wasn't about words, it was about decades of friendship, loyalty, and love. Showing up mattered more than anything. That moment became more than a Hollywood headline. It was proof that even legends face pain that shakes everything around them. Behind the awards, the laughter, and the fame, these are real people with real heartbreak. Moments like this peel back the curtain and remind us that even icons need someone to lean on when life hits hardest. If this story moved you, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another untold Hollywood story.